I'm Jake Rodkin. I'm Nick Breckon. I'm Nick Breckon. This is the Out of Thumbs Punchy Cast by a bunch of sad, malnourished people who just finished a week of game developing.
Games, video 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 games,
It's Q1 2009. Mass Effect footage leaked. Nobi Boy headed to iPhone, and Ratchet & Clank sequel announced.
This is the fourth Idle Thumbs Conf Grenade, and I'm Chris Remo.
I'm Nick Breckon.
And I'm Jake Rodkin.
And we're joined again. Well, first of all, Nick's back, so that's pretty awesome after a week of not being here.
Yeah,
and,
I'm like a guest.
And then don't do that, Duncan. And that's Duncan Fyfe.
I'm back for another podcast.
Hells yeah.
It's a Conf Grenade.
I'm sorry. A Conf Grenade.
All is forgiven.
That's okay, yeah. So, welcome back, Nick.
Thanks.
What the fuck have you been doing for the last 5 days when we haven't seen you?
I don't know. I woke up in the middle of a conference.
Yeah? Game developers were conferring?
Yeah.
You woke up in their midst?
Yeah. I don't know. I saw all the talks that were for the big games, the blockbusters, right?
Yeah. Well, I saw like 3 about Far Cry 2, so...
Oh, yeah. Well, I said big games.
Oh, snap.
Yeah, how were those? Because I didn't see them, and I really wish I could have.
The Clint Hawking one was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. The other ones were cool, but the Clint Hawking one I thought was like really, really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was actually, we talked about this already, so we can talk about it again. But was there any stuff you saw that...
Actually, the best talk I saw was Jeff Kaplan's World of Warcraft talk, which I thought was just going to be a fairly straightforward thing, but he was really candid about the game and about Blizzard's sort of approach. And I actually brought a quote from his thing that I sort of wanted to read.
Do you have that available?
Yes, I do. I have it right here.
Well, hey, look at this.
On
Nick
my device.
Prepared and everything. You used those 5 days to prepare for this podcast.
Bringing my A game for the games. All right.
Make sure to...
Yeah, this was in the middle of a talk which was more or less centered around quests, World of Warcraft quests, and he was sort of listing off flaws, mistakes that he was sort of admitting to that are still present in World of Warcraft. And this one, the subtitle of this section was called "Too Long Didn't Read," and it was more or less a rant. And so I'll just read it. He said, "I'm as guilty of this as anyone else. We're so fortunate and privileged to work in a medium that is not only an art, but a revolutionary interactive form of entertainment. It's unfortunate to see so many games try to be what they're not, including our game at times. Of course, we should embrace the concept of story, art, literature, film, song. They've all embraced story as well, but they all tell it in their own unique way." What? No. Okay.
This has nothing to do with you.
Okay.
Good day, Nick.
You're giving me weird looks. All right. I feel like we need to deliver our story in a way that is uniquely video game. We need to engage our audience by letting them be the hero or villain or the victim. Art, film, literature, they're tools, but we need to engage our players in sort of an inspiring experience. And sooner we accept that we are not Shakespeare, Scorsese, Tolstoy, or the Beatles, the better off we are. And then he summed it up by saying, basically, I'm speaking to the Blizzard guys in the back. We need to stop writing a fucking book in our game because nobody wants to read it, which I thought was interesting coming from Jeff Kaplan, who was the lead on World of Warcraft for the longest time.
Why is that interesting? Like, it is, but I'm.
It's interesting that he holds that view, and yet it is a fucking book in that game. I mean, like every quest, it's just this lengthy text that I'm not interested in, and he clearly doesn't seem interested in it either.
Just imagine if they cut down on that text, they could have like 10 million people playing that game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Crickets.
But I thought it was cool. He was really candid about everything. So
yeah, I heard he also said though. People just kind of want. Fair enough that he says that, but is World of Warcraft going to be a game that tells a story in any interesting way, like ever? What possible mechanism could you use in that game without completely just changing the entire way that it delivers story to your character without just... Okay, I guess I'll just tell you this quest more concisely. Like, what possible other...
I think his answer might be that, in that game, especially the story is sort of told by the player in the sense that, it's a social experience and you're sort of creating your own thing. But yeah, I don't know. I guess it'll be he's now the lead on their unannounced MMO, so it'll be interesting to see how that opinion sort of shapes their. Because I can't imagine that we'll see a lot of text in that game after that. Anyway,
yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah,
Sweet.
So yeah.
Any other cool stuff? Hey, you seem to pretty much have gone to like a totally different track of stuff than we did. I don't remember seeing you like running into you at all. So you must have seen other different weird things.
I went to the demise of Flagship talk.
Oh yeah, I actually did go to part of that.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. That was so. I mean, I don't know if
seemed
you
really
talked about it already, but
yeah, no, we didn't talk about it.
No.
There was it seemed
basically.
like...
Well, I mean, basically, just to sum up the talk, I mean, the one key. Jake is so bored by what I'm saying. He's reading a newspaper.
He's reading our newspaper.
Oh.
I'm trying to look something up, so I don't
He's
mind.
reading the hot news.
Go ahead, Nick.
Yeah. Anyway, no, I mean the one thing he said that was sort of the killer of that the project was not getting venture capital.
Right.
They denied the
they didn't take.
He said
all the money.
they could have raised maybe like $25-30 million at some point and chose not to take that, which was sort of his big takeaway. But
yeah, I remember I was there when he said something like, "If someone ever offers you money, take it."
Yeah,
but then he also said, "Don't like accept every sponsorship deal because you'll end up having fucking 20 logos on the back of your box, and all the people whose logos are on the box will want you to do something for them."
Yeah,
probably both valid things to bear in mind.
Yes. Yep. Yeah. Yeah, it was pretty amusing. He was like listing off all the mangas and like random
Hellgate
London
all these
things
weird
that
tie-ins.
Yeah, like
before their game even had fucking any awareness.
Yep.
Yeah. That studio is such an amazingly huge miscalculation.
Yes.
In so many ways. Jake is like separating the paper into pages. I don't really know what's going on
here. He's writing something on a piece of paper?
Yeah, it's cool.
All right, he's Hideos. Cool.
Anyway, yeah. So what did you guys do today? I mean, like what?
Jake and I hung out in the expo hall for a bit, where we finally got to play OnLive, which we speculated about in an earlier podcast. Well, Jake can talk about that in a bit, but the best part. Well, there was 6 terminals playing a couple of games, and the only one that was available for us was Lego Batman. Possibly because it was it wasn't Crisis or Burnout Paradise, and the best part of playing Lego Batman was discovering that we could quit out of Lego Batman and play something else.
Did you play something else?
Yes,
we
did.
played Burnout Paradise.
Hey,
yeah, I guess. I mean, the fact that you could quit out of a game and load another game was exciting because Lego Batman, which is probably good. But it was a.
Did you quit out front? Like, was that all through the OnLive interface? Like
It was just wired up to a console controller. It was using the micro console, the dongle.
Yes, the dongle.
So you just pressed, it was they were using the Logitech Xbox 360 knockoffs or the ones with,
sure.
Yeah, whatever.
I also noticed.
Well, I think they have their own proprietary controller. They used that when I was there.
They had it on the show floor, encased in a glass podium.
Oh,
yeah, we were using.
We weren't allowed to touch it, I guess.
Okay. All right. Well, weird.
But yeah, it was pretty amazing how fluid and nice it was to press the little, whatever the equivalent of the Xbox 360 button in the middle of the controller was. Have the what's the damn thing called?
OnLive.
Yeah, sorry, I don't know nouns. Have the OnLive interface pop up and super fluidly quit out of that game. Select Burnout Paradise, transition in, have like the sort of full screen animation and video stuff never stopped even when it was loading up Burnout Paradise's initial data, because all this stuff is obviously being streamed off of a server that's way larger than it needs to be. And then Burnout Paradise ran. Burnout, it felt a little bit laggy to me when I was playing it.
Yeah, you can detect it.
It feels like I was playing Burnout Paradise on a PC that was below spec to run it in terms. You know how like when your PC is just like a year out of date, it's just a little bit shitty. Except that the graphics looked way better than any PC I've ever played that game on. Right. So it's this weird combination, which actually did give me hope though, because unless they suddenly decide they're going to bump up the thing to 1080, it feels like there's 2 separate constraints. There's the actual rendering constraint on the server side, and then there's the streaming. And 480i and 720p are going to stay the exact amount of bandwidth as long as those formats exist. It's going to take, this many K per second to stream a frame of this. So the server side rendering seemed to be not a problem. It seemed like the problem was the internet lag, which was causing that little bit of delay.
Of course.
And that's the part that I think is going to get removed more easily over time
as those systems just become
as you get faster DSL, as you have a better cable modem in your house, whatever. I mean, it seemed really reasonably close to good. And I think more casual people wouldn't mind because it does feel like you just have a slightly less good PC. I have no idea if OnLive will actually work or become real, but just seeing that this technology exists at all, even like taking it one step from in theory to in actual limited use practice, means even if this particular service bombs out, or if they can't quite deliver it, the technology is so close and or actually exists. Just knowing that is cool. So like someone will get something like this out sometime in the next few years. It seems like.
Yeah, there's still a better part of a year away from actually launching the thing. Right. But
I mean, it's just nice to see that sort of this has actually been successfully broken open. Like, and now hopefully many things like it, or they themselves will start spilling out and becoming successful, because it is a cool piece of tech.
Yes. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I was really impressed that it actually worked, at all.
Yeah. Like it's not perfect, but it's way better than you think it should be.
Yeah.
And I bet that if they had been showing that stuff in SD, it would have been, I mean, it would have looked like SD, but
yeah. I mean, I played BioShock on it, and I don't know. My impressions. I think I got sort of like a there was a moment where I was playing and the internet quality dropped or something, because I went back and like looked at people playing Burnout and stuff, and it didn't look as bad as what I was playing. But BioShock looked really compressed at times.
Weird. Maybe the internet did just crap out, and
I don't know.
Some horrible.
But it just made me think. I don't know if I personally would ever.
Maybe it's also that BioShock is noticeably way more muted. And sort of monochromatic and dark in its color palette.
Yeah, it's very dark.
Like when you're watching an on-demand film
in
a nighttime scene.
Yeah, it really highlighted all the blocky
artifacts.
And
that's true. Yeah.
So I mean,
hopefully that's not real.
Yeah. And
good thing very few video games use dark color palettes and
exactly.
browns and kind of shadows. It's fortunate.
Yeah.
Because
Doom 3 would be the worst game to play because it's all dark and red, like two things that will just make a video compressor poop itself.
Right. Yeah. So, why does red do that, Jake? Do you know? You know about videos?
I probably should know why red is retarded, but I don't.
Yeah, I always wondered that.
It's just dumb.
Well, we don't know, guys, listeners. It's a mystery to us.
Right in.
Yeah. Well, OnLive. What a weird thing. Yeah. Someone's trying to do it.
We were also sitting in the expo hall about 10 minutes later at 3 p.m. when a voice came over the loudspeaker or whatever and said, "The expo hall is now closing," and everyone started to pack up their shit and tear down their posters, and it was a sad moment.
Yeah, it's always weird to be in a trade show hall when it closes.
Yeah, it is really weird.
On the last day of the show, because it's like, the show is closed. Like, just walls are just torn apart, and suddenly it just looks like you're in a post-apocalyptic wasteland. Like, the guy goes by sort of Katamariing up the floor carpets, and it's just, what the hell? I'm just in a shitty old warehouse. This is weird.
All the doors, like, shut simultaneously.
All the lights, just the red lights come on. Oh, fuck.
It's just... It looked really bad because OnLive supplied the lighting.
Yeah, it was weird. Oh, ouch.
Well, they're red.
And super dark.
Yeah. Yeah, I always wish when that happens that I wasn't in the... Well, when the guy tries to trap me in the room, I always wish I wasn't in there. But no, but when they get to that moment, when
the magic is lost.
Well, it's always just like really shitty. It's just like, this is not an enjoyable environment.
Like the suspension of disbelief of the conference is just like it's gone. You're just like, what? Wait a minute, these are just shitty carpets and like a pole holding up just a sign. I thought it was a cool booth.
Right, exactly.
What the hell?
I thought this company had some weird little like storefront thing in the middle of this room. Like, obviously you don't think that, but there's like, that shit looks way more permanent than it really is. Like,
right.
Especially the big companies like Sony and Nintendo and stuff. They always have these like fucking buildings in the middle of the
and then the guy just sort of pops it off, and
it
the
just
wall
looks
is
like,
just gone.
Yeah, it's like the closing of Disney World or something. Like, Mickey takes off his thing and
GDC, it's just like Disney World until it closes.
It was like Disneyland, or level design is like Disneyland, as I didn't learn when I missed that talk.
I also missed that talk.
I heard that the
Scott Rogers from, I don't remember what company he works at. He worked on God of War and Maximo, and he gave a talk on why level design, everything he knew about level design he learned from Disneyland.
Apparently that talk was full out the door. And
that's
what I heard. Yeah.
Oh, really?
So you're welcome.
Yeah. This conference report brought to you by Idle Thumbs. Yeah, that's too bad.
Yeah.
Let's see what else. What happened? Well, I can't talk.
Yeah.
We had some sandwiches today during lunch. That was pretty awesome.
I had turkey.
God, there was some gross lunch yesterday. There was like some kind of pasta pesto thing.
I think that made everybody sick because I
couldn't even fucking eat it.
Yeah,
it was the grossest shit.
It was like radioactive green.
Yes.
I was like, why are a bunch of game designers eating something that's like it looks like it's toxic?
Yeah, but that's just
like
sponsored
the universal
lunch.
color of
Was,
right, exactly. Yeah,
Vault-Tec.
It's
pasta
Half-Life goo pasta
snack or something. Yeah, it was like green goo with flecks in it. I think it was supposed to be.
Green. Your description of
I think it was supposed to be pesto.
I was actually sick for half of yesterday. So.
Oh, did you eat that pasta?
No,
I felt terrible after I ate that pasta.
Yeah. Chris, you went back to get 3 different lunches, but all of them had the same pasta.
I know. I kept going back to the lunch thing and trying to go in a different route so they wouldn't notice me. Just like marching off with an increasing number of lunches. Yes, I did. Well, it was fucking gross. It was seriously like nauseating. Jake is just back to reading the newspaper.
Yeah.
Sorry, I love the news.
He loves news.
We can't entertain Jake.
I talked to Todd Hollinshead the other day, the CEO of id Software, and it sounds like they're really pleased with how many people are playing it, and apparently they're actually going to move on to
playing what?
Playing Quick Live, you mean?
Oh, what did I say?
You
didn't say anything.
Quick Live.
Launched in there.
They're really satisfied with how they're playing. And anyway, Quick Live.
It's a secret unannounced.
He said they're thinking of moving on to Wolfenstein Enemy Territory Live. That'll be a ways down the road. I think he said, but
maybe doing that.
Yeah, and but a bunch more stuff on iPhone as well, like Wolfenstein and Doom and all this other crap.
Yeah, they announced Wolf 3D.
It's out. You can buy it now.
Yeah, you're right. You can buy that. Yeah, then they're putting the RPG on there as well.
Yeah, and Wolf 3D, I guess, is on Xbox Live.
But it was just interesting to me to see this company, id, which is kind of one of those classic sort of long-time PC independent studios that just every few years releases some big thing. It's now been like 5 years.
Right, they have them now, so they'd be like, our entire back catalog is going on the internet and all consoles.
All these weird little things for portables and phones.
It's
and
probably cool.
Web browser. No, it's cool. I mean, it allows them to at least like work on things that have smaller development cycles and get some like alternative revenue streams coming in.
And it keeps their fairly notable back catalog alive.
That's true. Yeah,
I think it's just Carmack back there just kicking ass.
Right. It also might just be.
I've
discovered the iPhone SDK.
Well, I think there was. I saw one report. I think they thought it was going to take like 2 or 3 weeks to port Wolf to iPhone, and Carmack did it in like 3 days or something. Like he just in his spare time.
Yeah.
But
he's all over that stuff.
Yeah.
It seems like he really gets something out of gets a kick out of the weird sort of working to a really constrained spec. Mm-hmm. Like trying to just squeeze something out of that.
Well, I mean, that sort of always was his thing with older systems. And, he still squeezes things out of a constrained spec that just happen to be fucking ridiculous new graphics cards. But, I mean, I'm sure he really likes being able to go back to a thing that has way shittier limitations, like whatever he was coding cutting-edge engines for 10 years ago or 15 years ago.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Yep.
Also, it's weird that 15 years ago could be said in terms of John Carmack and coding 3D things.
Yeah.
It's weird.
It is weird.
Games are old.
They're not that old.
Good old games.
Wink.
Yeah. Man, it's speaking of like good old games, not that specifically, but just all the PC digital distribution stuff. Nick, you probably have gotten this too. I feel like at this point, every fucking week, there's like more one-upmanship from either like Impulse, what are they? Stardock or Valve, or basically Games for Windows.
Yeah,
those guys just like back and forth all the goddamn time.
Yeah.
Did we talk about Games for Windows live on this podcast this week? I don't even remember.
I don't think
I don't remember.
Yeah, I think Nick and I both. Yeah, I know. Nick and I both did interviews, I think, with those guys this week.
Yeah.
And it's really weird talking to those guys.
God, that's weird.
Like every time...
they're the weirdest like it's like a Kubrick movie. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like you're walking down a hotel hall and you open it and somebody like opens the door for you slowly. It's just like, "Come in, sir." And then
I thought you said a Kubert movie.
Oh no, no.
Kubrick.
It's like that sweet Kubert adaptation.
No.
Man, that was crazy. It was exactly like this time I interviewed the Games for Windows executives.
So confused.
They
swore like you're walking down a hallway that's made of sort of isometric, diagonally stacked cubes,
out in my head.
And then a spring guy comes out. It's weird.
God, that was the strangest interview I ever did.
Yeah.
Really informative, though.
Anyway, it's like a Kubrick movie.
Yeah. The people are always fun. Fun guys, you know? Like, I don't know. Like they switch.
What is that guy? I don't know. You know that one guy.
He's so fun.
I thought
He's
Chris
fun.
was gonna like pick up there. You know.
On the I don't know what to say about they're so fun. They're fun
Well,
guys. They're fun.
I don't want to.
I don't know, like what.
I don't want to call them out for being weird.
fun.
They're
For being a fun guy.
I don't know. Like the last time,
this time it was babies. It was a
They
Kubrick
think
movie.
they're fun. They're oh god.
Man, Nick is pooping all over Microsoft.
Man,
there.
see,
I don't know.
You're
they're-
making me do this.
I'm
You're
not making you do
You're
this.
just shutting up, and then you're letting me like hang myself. Is what this is.
Well, I thought they were pretty fun guys. No, I don't know. They were fine. Like they're just dudes who run a thing. It's not that the guys are weird. It's just that they don't. They seem to just sort of sort of continually put off things that they seem to say they're working on. Like
Yes.
that's my games through Windows. Like I mean, I'm glad they're
Something's
sort of
always
working on,
coming.
like, exactly right. It's always like, so when are you guys gonna? I don't know, kind of make this competitive with stuff. It's like, well, you know, don't have infinite resources, but things will be happening.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm glad that they're in that space. I mean, at least it's providing some like. There's at least more competition now going on. Like that causes guys like Stardock and Valve to go and add more shit to their services. I'm sure. Yeah, right. Because Microsoft does have such a strong parallel service on Xbox. It just isn't.
It seems like they could bring out a stronger one.
Right?
On the
No,
PC
I know. I
if
agree.
they
It's
wanted
just-
to.
Yeah, but if I wonder, like, I wonder if you know, if Valve and Stardock are sort of looking at that and kind of like trying to imagine what their schedule is and going like, man, what if they bring over like, I don't know, a client that works? Like that'd be cool. I mean, bad for us. Let's try to implement a new feature. I don't know. Like it's weird that the Games for Windows client still doesn't let you actually look at who's online or like send a message or something. Like that's really bizarre to me. But I mean, I don't know. They did tell me they're working on getting rid of the friends limit.
Right.
But that might be another thing where 6 months later I ask them about it again and they're like winking at me. Like, you know, they're always like, we've got some stuff in the pipe. We got some stuff going on.
They've got some stuff in the pipe for sure.
Microphones can't detect saucy looks.
That's true.
We just had a saucy look bonanza going on right now.
Yeah. It was great. We're still doing it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
it's not the end of the week.
Let's take a break.
Oh, really? Okay.
Wait, did you have something to say?
I can say it after the break.
Okay.
We'll be back.
All right.
Video games.
Oh, snap.
Speaking of twos
and hearts,
some dudes saw some Army of Two.
Well, I wasn't actually going to talk about Army of 222 first.
I thought you were.
I was going to talk about a panel I saw today.
Oh, we'll do that.
Which is called the Human Play Machine.
Yeah, speaking of hearts.
That sounds hardcore.
Speaking of
the
heart,
seg there.
Speaking of heart, the Human Play Machine. Part machine, part human.
Play.
All play. It was by...
It sounds like a cyborg, like a Cytec cyborg mouse.
I was surprised when we couldn't see. We thought there was no speaker there, but then a voice showed up, and we had to stand and look over the podium, and there was a little Cytec cyborg mouse there with some conference notes and a little PowerPoint clicker. So it was a weird talk. No, it was by someone whose name I don't know.
He used the D-pad on his own chassis to change the
Oh, right. The Cytec cyborg comes with all these things. It was using the sort of size adjusting servo to create human speech, to synthesize speech.
Right.
Yeah, the laser engine for the laser pointer.
Yeah, it was fucking crazy speech. The Human Play Machine by Cytec Cyborg.
Unfortunately, at this point in the recording, the noise you have undoubtedly found increasingly annoying began to dominate more and more of the audio, much like the spread of that crazy alien architecture in Half-Life 2. We will try to salvage any remaining clean portions of this podcast. Our deepest apologies for any inconvenience this may cause. We would like to extend a full refund to all of our customers. Thank you for your patronage. We hope you continue to enjoy Idle Thumbs. But it's the game. The point of the game
Sounds
is
like a
basically,
video game.
yeah, it does. Your two guys from Army of Two, the first one, are in Shanghai, I think, and there's some kind of crazy disaster going on, and you don't really know what it is yet. But it's to the point where it looks like the city's under attack or something. And I like the concept of the game, which is okay. If you're gonna make a game about fucking things exploding and everything exploding and buildings exploding, I like that the concept of this game is you are essentially just trying to get out of it. Like it's not like you're necessarily in the middle of a war. I mean,
or
maybe
your side is like causing it
yet.
or whatever.
You really don't.
Yeah.
Like, it seems unclear what actually is going on in the game, and I think they're doing that deliberately.
Well, I mean, they cited Cloverfield as their inspiration.
Yeah, I haven't seen that, so I wouldn't. Yeah, they did mention that with me as well, but I wasn't sure what that implied.
But it's pretty obvious. I mean, when you're from watching, I mean, the jets and things exploding.
Yeah, but isn't Cloverfield there's a monster attack?
There is, yeah.
You don't know that for a long time.
Yeah,
in the film.
that's the last level. Is
oh, really? Okay, see, I didn't. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, so sure. So there's that. But yeah, I thought that was a cool concept for a game, and it feels like along the way you get. I mean, it's not a brilliant thing.
It's not, but it does look unique
guys
as a video game.
People, like whatever.
Sure.
They
might as well be doing it totally on their own and not at the request of a military.
Well, there are dudes who try to call you for contract things, like because you're in you guys are there. You are mercenaries. So I mean,
so it's like mercenaries.
Not really. Well, yeah. I mean,
no, not really. In the middle of a job, you're like, guys, I'm on a mission. God's sake.
But anyway, it looked cool. I just like a game that tries to do more with like interaction between cooperative characters. I mean, in Army of Two, the first one, they
Army of
One. Jesus, they may have gone a little overboard in weird ways. And I mean, I asked them about that. How do you know when something is interesting cooperative, and how do you know when it's overbearing, and how do you know when it's just sort of so meaningless as to the point where no one will bother doing it? And it sounds like they're trying to work on that a lot more. And I suspect someone whose whole thing is putting interpersonal interaction in video games, probably that will be a focus of his. I don't know. Obviously Army of Two was not like an amazing, incredible game, but I liked some of the stuff it was attempting to do at least. Yeah. And I like the guy behind this upcoming one who didn't work on the first one. And
just the priority on... And I think it's a thing that's just appearing more and more in games in general. Just a priority on sort of optional interactions that just let you do things like that.
Just because, right?
Yeah, because. I think that they are going to make. I don't know. I love that sort of thing. It makes games feel a lot more awesome. I generally am not that big into sort of like feeling like I'm the player, or like or even like self-expression in games and all that stuff. That stuff doesn't really make me enjoy, or it's not something that I look for in a game.
Right.
But when games sort of fill in all the weird little cracks like that with actual contextually accurate events, it makes that does blow me away. IGN.com.
I agree. Like I don't really like. Well, I shouldn't say don't like, but I don't really play games for kind of like the power fantasy aspect of it. Right. Which is why I frequently just kind of get turned off these days by games where it's just like you fucking go in there and you kill everyone. Like I don't really care, but I like when a game, from just a mechanical point of view and just from like an immersion point of view, tries to actually give you the tools you would have if you were that person, even though that's not actually why I'm in the game.
It's really cool when a game actually acknowledges here's an entire additional layer of interactions that you could do at this point.
Exactly. Yeah.
Which is really nice, because otherwise you are still just Quake guy basically who can shoot guys and jump, and they don't help you advance through the mission, but it makes the whole experience slightly more pleasant.
And it's really crazy seeing that, very slowly, but start to kind of pollinate into a number of genres, particularly ones where you just never would have seen that a couple of years ago. It's weird. It's weird when you can actually detect those trends in real time, to the point where people give talks that are clearly like the first one of a certain sub-trend, and you can sort of trace like it's crazy. This was not a thing that people were talking about even just several years ago.
Did you guys see Michael Booth's Left 4 Dead talk?
I didn't, unfortunately. I missed a lot of stuff this year for some reason.
It was good. I mean, he didn't go over a whole lot of new ground, but I mean, it was just in this context, it was it was pretty interesting. I mean, he was talking about how they thought of the 4 players as the player, and just sort of design the co-op around that, to the point where killing one off doesn't really make a difference, and just
no, it can.
Well, but in the sense that they're the systems that they were dealing with. He actually went behind the AI director a lot, which was kind of interesting, just kind of like detailing all that stuff. But yeah, that's a game that does co-op really, really well.
And that's a game
I think that's like the king of co-op right now for me. I mean, I can't think of a game that encourages cooperative play between players, helping each other, to that degree.
Common goal as competing against a team.
Yeah,
although it does have versus, but I agree with you, and I think what's so interesting about that game is that it's tackling that issue from a very different like a different point than these other games we're talking about. In that Left 4 Dead, with a few exceptions, like you can heal a dude or whatever, which is a very direct mechanical cause and effect thing. Like that's a very straightforward interaction. That's not like the social thing. Most of what you're doing is you're just sort of going around. Like most of the actual cooperation stems entirely from positioning, from sort of just very straightforward combat teamwork, and yet it feels extremely deep, even though mechanically it's not that deep. It's entirely just been designed in a way to
your brain fills in a
that.
huge amount of gaps successfully.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
He was talking about
dialogue interjections that they put in also do.
He talked a lot about that actually.
For you, but it's still very effective.
I think a lot of it's the kind of the tension that you're under kind of makes you feel like more that everyone is doing matters more.
Yeah.
Because a lot of co-op games are kind of more kind of paced towards just going ahead and doing what you're doing.
Well, like Halo co-op or something.
Yeah.
It's sort of just like, all right, fucking roll on to the next group. And I really like Halo co-op, but I mean, it's much more basic in that it's just sort of, all right, we're going to just fucking roll over this next group of guys in a creative way, as opposed to like we actually rely on each other in a really meaningful way.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, that was actually something that Hutchinson talked about. Hutchington, I think. I always forget.
Hutchinson. Okay.
Yes.
When we talked to him, or when I talked to him recently, he talked a lot about that, about trying to encourage kind of true cooperation as opposed to just sort of twice the firepower. I mean, that's a really difficult thing to do. Very few games actually do that well. And then, as I said, I think Army of Two swung too far in one direction and ended up not working entirely. But it's a tough problem to solve, especially in like an action genre where really finely tuned mechanics are extremely important, and then having multiple people in there doing them simultaneously, that's got to be a nightmare from a balance and gameplay design standpoint. But it's definitely like a thing that a lot of people are trying to do right now, which is very cool, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Do we want to maybe do a reader mail and then wrap it up?
We have reader mail?
Yeah, I think we've read most of this week's reader mail, but I think we have at least one more here. Let's see here. Chris Berg writes, my compadre and I were discussing the Countdown to Tears, OnLive, and games on the iPhone when we had an epiphany and a revelation at the same time. It would have brought us to tears had we not known that the tears are scheduled for a later date. Here's what's going down. In 2016, Neil Young plays a game created by Peter Molyneux that finally utilizes the PS3's ultimate potential. He will play this game through the OnLive service on the iPhone. Everything will be changed, IGN.com, because Neil Young will not shed a tear, revealing once and for all that he is a cyborg. Because of this win for cyborgs, we will all shed multiple tears. Forever yours, Chris and Ryan. P.S. Can't wait for the DLC that adds puffins to Far Cry 2.
Jesus
Most
Christ.
referential thing ever.
Yeah.
Oh, well, here, PPS. If we missed any of the show's memes, please insert this in this email. Also, the wizard.
All right.
Well done, Chris Berg and Ryan somebody.
And the final meme, us disregarding anything.
Yeah, exactly right, yeah. What a jerk.
Yeah, I don't know what to say about that email, but thanks for writing it. Mo Asman writes, hi guys, especially Jake, because I love him so in a non-homosexual way.
Thank you.
Maybe he wants to pat you on the butt. You guys should play Army of Two when it comes out.
My pets were cut.
Oh, right. Well, keep pressing A. Maybe he'll sneak in an Easter egg. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that I'm the only Malaysian that listens to the podcast.
Sorry. A horrible gesture.
That was an awkward time to laugh.
When you said maybe he'll sneak in an Easter egg, Lawrence made a horrible hand going up into a place, holding an egg gesture. It was really unfortunate. Anyway.
All right. So he says, I am also potentially the saddest gamer listening in.
Okay.
Ouch. I've listened to all episodes, including the UK casts, while playing Football Manager 2009, also known as World Soccer Manager or something to you Americans, for the 7th season in a row for the 3rd different team, simply because I don't have a gaming-capable PC. And then he says what video card he has. Since I made the move to build a new PC a few months back. I also have a broken PS2 and an Xbox that was killed by a lightning strike, and have yet gotten around to get a PS3 or 360, as it's still ridiculously expensive on my side of the world. $360 for an arcade 360, $480 for a PS3. Okay, with that out of the way for you to laugh at and be shocked about, I've had a few questions. One, will you guys ever want to discuss piracy? I'm going to cut in right here and just say pretty much no. I hate talking about that. Two, would you guys...
I would be less opposed to it, except that Chris will kill me.
Well, okay, I would be fine with it as long as we didn't do it all the time. I don't know. I've gotten so many horrible emails to me about piracy because I tend to be pretty harsh on it. So, two, would you guys ever be interested in reading about what it's like on this side of the world? I've always considered writing about it, but never got around to it. It's taken an interesting turn in habits, as people are actually starting to buy PS3s and original games more than ever before, considering the alternative that both the 3 and the 360 and the Wii have faced fairly rampant piracy. Three, what's your most memorable... Oh, two, I would say that'd be interesting.
Yes.
Three, what's your most memorable console system, not including the current generation?
Super Nintendo.
Super Nintendo.
Yep, SNES.
Yeah, I didn't really have any until... I mean, I had a PS1, but then after that, I didn't have one until PS2 era.
Super Nintendo by a fucking million miles.
Dreamcast.
Yes.
I would still say Super Nintendo by extension because so many... I mean,
Weirdly, I'd say Super Nintendo and then GameCube, which makes me a weirdo, probably.
I would say GameCube also, which is really strange.
Dreamcast is my second because that kind of opened me up to multi-platform.
Oh, that's cool.
PlayStation.
But yeah, the Super Nintendo came out for me like right as I was sort of understanding what a game was, besides sort of just a thing that always exists.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, I was born before a video game, but not quite actually. Before an 8-bit video game, before anyone, whatever. Ooh, I'm not that old.
Keep talking.
Sorry, it was just fuck me, fucking everything. I'm done. Never mind. Super Nintendo.
All right. Yeah.
Mario.
That guy's cool. 4. Chris,
God.
can you do your world famous gamer Anorak voice for me? Sure, I'll read your next question in that voice. 5. Why hasn't anyone made a new goddamn Blast Corp yet? I don't know. Mo 6 from the Land of the Laws. Okay.
The Blastco thing might be down to whoever owns the rights to the property because it was made by Rare on the N64.
Right.
And then there was that whole weird split thing.
Nintendo,
So I don't really know who's got that.
That's true.
There was a Perfect Dark and a banjo.
Yeah, they got those, but I know that Nintendo got some of them.
I think Nintendo may actually have Blast Corp. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Nick Breckon writes, when are you guys recording?
I'm waiting. What's the answer?
Yeah, I don't know. All right. Ryan Arnold
Can't
writes,
be a recording.
Hey, Idle Thumbs, long-time listener of your podcast. I have a 25-mile bike commute, so a good podcast. It's something I appreciate on the long rides home. Anyway, I've been enjoying the Countdown to Tears, which I guess has been supplanted by Molyneux's Countdown to an Offer You Can't Refuse, or some other Godfather reference. Anyhow, I was wondering if you guys saw this video. Shit, no. Sorry, that didn't mean shit, no. I meant like, oh shit, I haven't seen it.
Shit, no.
It's old Rihanna Pratchett, writer for EA's Mirror's Edge, talking about how we should forget about games making us cry. Is this a thinly veiled challenge to her ex-EA colleague, Neil Young? You be the judge. Ryan, T. Ryan Arnold, THQ QA database administrator. A good question. I don't think she ever worked there at the same time he did, because she's a contract writer and he was...
She replaced him.
Yeah, when he left. No, I don't think she works there at all. I think she just did like contract writing on Mirror's Edge, and then Neil Young was formerly like a VP at EALA.
Yeah.
This is probably a way more serious answer than he expected. They probably had some kind of crazy rivalry that we could talk about.
I think she flew into the office and punched him in the face.
Yeah.
And then
for some reason I imagine
cried.
that like on a broomstick when you, I don't know, like fly. I don't know.
Weird. Yeah. Well, hopefully they all attended all of the really interesting talks on this very subject.
She did attend the Margaret Robertson talk.
Oh, okay. There you go.
So having a conversation with Margaret afterwards. So maybe you will see some changes in her storytelling coming up.
All right. We'll see how that goes. We can probably call this a wrap here.
Yeah.
Call this a wrap? Cool. If people say that? I don't know. Probably not.
We should wrap this up and call it that.
It might be a wrap.
Duncan is gesturing with his finger. He's making circular motions.
Conjuring a wrap.
Bye.
Video game.
Lawrence, you have to
Make one what?
That's a week. Who was it? Was it Alex?
Duncan fell over in there.
You just expressed